At the beginning of every year, something interesting happens. People feel hopeful. Not because everything suddenly changed overnight, but because the calendar did. January feels like a clean page, a chance to do things differently, a chance to fix what didn't work. And for many people, that hope quietly centers around money. You tell yourself, this year, I want to be better with my finances. This year, I want less stress, fewer emergencies, more control. But here's the truth most people don't like to hear. Wanting a better financial year without a plan is just wishing, and wishing doesn't pay bills. Planning does. Proper financial planning at the beginning of the year is one of the most underrated success habits. Not because it magically makes you rich, but because it puts you in the driver's seat. It moves you from reacting to life to directing it. And the earlier you do it in the year, the more powerful it becomes. Most people don't fail financially because they're lazy or irresponsible. They fail because they drift. Money comes in, money goes out, and before they know it, the year is gone. No savings, no progress, just stories about where the money went. Planning interrupts that drift. Let's start with why the beginning of the year matters so much. January gives you time. Time to spread goals realistically. Time to recover from mistakes. Time to build momentum slowly, instead of rushing at the end. When you plan early, you're not trying to fix 12 months of damage in the last 2 months. You're shaping the year from day one. Financial planning doesn't start with spreadsheets or apps. It starts with honesty. You cannot plan what you refuse to face. The first real step is sitting down and looking at where you are financially right now. Not where you wish you were. Not where you pretend to be. Where you actually are. That means knowing your income clearly. Every source. Salary, side hustles, freelancing, commissions, irregular gigs. If it comes to you as money, it counts. Then, you look at your expenses. Fixed expenses like rent, transport, school fees, subscriptions. Variable expenses like food, airtime, entertainment, random spending. This part is uncomfortable for many people because it exposes habits we don't like admitting. But clarity is power. You can't control what you don't measure. Once you see your numbers, something shifts. Money stops feeling mysterious. You begin to understand why you're always broke at a certain point in the month, or why saving feels impossible. It's not because you're cursed. It's because the system you're using isn't designed to help you win. Planning at the start of the year allows you to design a system instead of surviving chaos. A system doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the more likely you'll stick to it. At its core, financial planning answers 3 questions. How much is coming in? Where is it going? And what am I intentionally building toward? One of the biggest benefits of early planning is prioritization. Not everything can be important at the same time. When you don't plan, urgent things steal from important ones. Emergencies steal from savings. Impulse spending steals from investments. Social pressure steals from long-term goals. Planning forces you to decide what matters first. For example, many people say saving is important, but their budget treats savings like leftovers. If anything remains after spending, they save. Which usually means they save nothing. Proper planning flips that. You save first, even if it's a small amount, because consistency matters more than size in the beginning. Planning early also helps you prepare for predictable expenses. Things like school fees, insurance renewals, holidays, birthdays, car maintenance. These are not emergencies. They happen every year. But because people don't plan for them, they feel like financial attacks when they arrive. When you plan at the beginning of the year, you spread these costs over months instead of panicking at the last minute. Another powerful advantage is debt management. Debt feels heavier when it's unplanned. When you don't know how much you owe, to whom, and at what interest rate, debt controls you. Planning puts you back in control. You can map out repayment strategies. Decide which debts to clear first. Avoid accumulating new, unnecessary debt. Even small progress on debt reduces mental stress significantly. Financial stress is not just about lack of money. It's about lack of direction. Knowing that you're on a path, even a slow one, brings peace. Planning gives your money a job. Every shilling dollar, or coin knows where it's supposed to go. And when money has a job, it's less likely to disappear. The beginning of the year is also the best time to set realistic financial goals. Not vague ones like I want to be rich or I want to save more. Real goals have numbers and timelines. Save this amount by this month. Clear this debt by this date. Increase income by this percentage. Build an emergency fund that covers this many months of expenses. An emergency fund is one of the most powerful financial tools you can build early in the year. Life will happen. Illness, job delays, unexpected responsibilities. An emergency fund turns disasters into inconveniences. And the earlier you start building it, the less pressure you feel later. Planning also creates awareness around lifestyle inflation. Many people earn more over time but feel no richer. That's because expenses rise quietly alongside income. When you plan at the start of the year, you can decide in advance how future income increases will be used. Maybe part goes to better living, part goes to savings, part goes to investments. Instead of everything disappearing into a more expensive version of the same life. Proper planning is also about protecting your future self. Your future self depends on the decisions you make now. When you delay planning, you're passing problems forward. When you plan early, you're giving your future self breathing room. Investments are another area where early planning makes a huge difference. Investing isn't about timing the market perfectly. It's about time in the market. The earlier you start, even with small amounts, the more compounding works in your favor. Planning helps you choose investments that align with your risk tolerance and long-term goals, instead of reacting emotionally to trends and hype. Many people think financial planning is only for those who earn a lot. That's a myth. In fact, planning matters more when resources are limited. When money is tight, every decision matters more. Planning helps you stretch what you have further and avoid costly mistakes. One practical aspect of planning is building buffers. Buffers for time, money, and mistakes. When you plan early, you're not operating at the edge all the time. You leave room for error. That's where peace lives. Constant financial pressure drains creativity, energy, and confidence. Planning reduces that pressure gradually. Another overlooked benefit is confidence. When you know your numbers, you speak differently. You make decisions faster. You say no more easily. You're less easily swayed by pressure or comparison. Confidence grows from clarity. Financial planning also strengthens relationships. Money problems are a major source of conflict. When finances are planned, conversations change. Expectations are clearer. Decisions feel shared rather than reactive. Even if money is still tight, alignment reduces tension. Planning at the beginning of the year also allows room for review and adjustment. A good plan is not rigid, it evolves. You track progress monthly. You adjust when income changes. You learn from mistakes. But without an initial plan, there's nothing to adjust. You're just reacting. One mistake people make is trying to plan perfectly. Perfection kills progress. A simple plan you follow is better than a perfect plan you abandon. Start where you are. Use what you have. Improve as you go. Another mistake is copying other people's plans blindly. Your financial plan must fit your reality, your income, your responsibilities, your goals. Comparison leads to frustration. Planning is personal. At the beginning of the year, you also have mental energy. Motivation is naturally higher. Use it. Don't wait until you're exhausted mid-year. Momentum is easier to build when the year is young. Planning also helps you spot opportunities. When you know your financial position, you can recognize chances to grow. A side hustle, a skill upgrade, a strategic investment. Opportunities often require readiness. Planning creates readiness. Let's talk about habits. Financial success is built on small, repeated actions. Saving consistently, tracking spending, reviewing goals. Planning early allows these habits to form gradually instead of being forced later under pressure. Proper financial planning doesn't eliminate problems. It reduces panic. It replaces fear with strategy. When something goes wrong, you don't spiral. You adjust because you expected life to happen. Planning also gives meaning to sacrifice. When you know what you're working toward, Saying no to unnecessary spending feels purposeful, not restrictive. You're not depriving yourself. You're choosing your future. The beginning of the year is also a powerful time to reset money stories. Many people carry beliefs like I am bad with money or money never stays with me. Planning challenges those narratives. It shows you that money responds to structure. One of the most practical steps you can take early in the year is automating where possible. Automatic savings, automatic bill payments. Automation removes reliance on motivation. Planning helps you decide what to automate. Reviewing the previous year is also part of planning. What worked? What didn't? Where did money leak? What caused stress? Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Financial planning is not about restriction. It's about intention. You still enjoy life. You just do it consciously. Fun is planned too. Guilt-free enjoyment comes from knowing it's accounted for. As the year progresses, those who planned early feel the difference. Fewer surprises, less scrambling, more options. Progress, even if slow, feels real. By mid-year, planners are adjusting while non-planners are panicking. By the end of the year, planners are reviewing wins while others are making promises again. Success doesn't come from dramatic changes. It comes from consistent alignment. Planning aligns your money with your values. If you do nothing else this year, plan, write it down, review it monthly, keep it simple, stay honest. Proper financial planning at the beginning of the year doesn't guarantee wealth, but it dramatically increases peace. And peace is a form of success many people overlook. Your future self is watching, and they will thank you for starting early.